Welcome to the most professional chess rating climb. Today we continue where we ended on. It's 1008 rating points. I guess this is our game 2. So I will not end the video now. Although I could end it. But yeah, let's continue. My plan was to have one game per video. I will not count that game. So bishop c4, pretty common response in a low elo. On lower levels, I recommend e6 here. Pro players or more professional 2000 rated players do not play that move. They play it really in rare cases if they really don't wanna learn Sicilian theory, which I recommend learning. Not focusing that much, I talked about it in previous video, but you should know. You should know about 8 moves, 8 to 10 moves and ideas for middle game. And that's enough. I reached 2300 with that. Okay, so e5. I go knight c6, so we get knight f3. So this pawn is kind of weak. It's hard for him to play d4 right now because I would just take. Knight takes here. I'm looking at queen c7 and knight e7, knight g6. Although g6 bishop g7 doesn't look so good. It still attacks pawn. So main concern is... Wait. If I play knight e7, c3 here, d4, that helps. If I play queen c7, then there is no c3 because it takes, so queen e2, right? I go here, c3 here, d4. Not looking so good. Queen c7, queen e2, knight g7, castle, knight g6 here. This sucks. You know what I will do? I'll play a6. My intention is to play b5. Now either a4 or a3. This guy chooses knight c3. Okay. Good to me. b5, and this is why we had to play a3 or a4 last move. If you want to keep bishop on this diagonal. If not, you got to go back. But now he just trapped his own bishop. Just to be clear, this was not my sole intention. This is not my purpose to play b5. b5, I take more space and I develop my bishop on b7. And my plan was to play d6, trade out these pawns, capture with bishop, and go knight f6. After that I can castle and I have a good position. Now I win a piece. Let's see, he plays d3, which I don't mind. I'll just take d3, because this pawn is kinda, let's say, weak, because I'm planning to trade these for this. Okay, now we just need to fix our development. And everything will be fine. No tactics. d6, only downside is this knight is unprotected. But queen here, bishop b7 should be enough. Let me see. Alternatively, you could just place your bishop on c5 and play knight here. I don't like it because I'll have problems with this pawn. If I don't trade it, let's say he castles and puts his rook on d1, then it's hard for me to develop this bishop without dropping this pawn. So I do want to play d6. Also knight e4, knight e6 could be idea for him. I really need to trade this pawn. Okay, so he goes for bishop there. Let me see. Good thing about this position is I have pawns on a6 and e6, therefore this knight cannot jump on c7. So I will just take. And I was looking at queen d8 here and then taking. And as you can see, for the time being, he does have more development. I do have a pawn. And the problem that he has now, the problem that he would have in every, even if he took in here, is that he traded queens. And there is just not enough danger. He does have enough pieces to checkmate me. Therefore, I'll trade queens, just like in previous variation. This time it's even better for me because he takes with this pawn and this pawn becomes isolated. And one other thing, he allows me to take here as well. So I traded this as well. Therefore this position is quite good. I'll play knight f6. Now knight f6 guards knight e4, so there is not that move. And now I develop my bishop with tempo as well. Knight c4 is not a real move, but knight c4, bishop maybe e7. And I don't mind moving my bishop back because knight on e5 is better than c4. Knight b6 does very little, absolutely nothing. Let me see where do I want to put my bishop. Well, bishop doesn't need to be on b7 anymore. I can just develop my bishop to d7. I have bishop pair and what else? And a piece up. He only has pawn for all of that. It's probably this pawn which is weak. Okay, so he's a little planless. Although knight on d4 is that's not an outpost. This d5 square is outpost for me. I will start using my open files or semi-open files D and B for me. Here and this rook goes here. In my position I only have one weakness, which is this. His weakness is this, but he cannot attack mine. And I can attack his. Let me see, now I need to move my bishops a bit. Bishop e4 to open up a path for this rook. And here I don't. This plan. Well, not yet, not yet. I'm not interested in that. Knight e2. Now I can play bishop e5, putting in more pressure on this pawn. And this pawn now cannot move, since knight will die. Let's say that. We are ahead, so it's good for us to trade pieces. Also, when you're playing against isolated pawn, you also want to trade pieces and get into the endgame. Right? It's more advantageous to you. And side with isolated pawn doesn't want to trade pieces because usually they have more space. Yep, that will be the position. You have isolated pawn. It will be on d4 and I have e6. And down there is pieces and he has more space, so he can use his pieces better. But we didn't play any such opening. He just blundered his way through. I can play this and then play this. I don't give him too much counterplay. Therefore, I'll just double rook here first. His only counterplay is getting a rook here, but as long as I have double bishops, I'm not too worried about that. I could also play bishop a3, which would stop this pawn, and this rook would not be able to move, which in high side is probably a better move. Although, can I fix my mistake? Also, in this game too, I once again need to be wary of back ranks. So here is what I'm gonna do. I'll play f6 to stop mainly 95 and give my king more room. And now I completely missed that after bishop e2, my main idea is not to take knight, but take this rook, because the rook has no squares to go to. That is completely my bad. Now you could take here and get exchange, or I could take on f3, right? And win a piece. f3, win a piece. Which one is better? I like this more. Why? Because I get to exchange more pieces after this, right? Actually, I get to checkmate him though. He must sacrifice his knight as well to survive. Knight f1, and rook goes to first rank. Now rook on second rank is OP, and rook on first rank probably means that you'll get checkmated. Those are not rules, really. I just invented those rules. Now you just take pieces, and the easiest one to do is promote your pawn or do this. Threaten checkmate. If he doesn't let me checkmate him, yep, I will just play with my pieces. Promote the pawn, and I'll just be wary of some stalemates. Clock is running low, and there is really not much of need to explain anything here. G5, let me block everything here. Here to cut off the king. If king goes to G1, I'll just... Yep. He's now the last rank, and now we just need to push the pawn and checkmate our opponent. Let me play bishop here. And once his king goes away, we push the pawn and promote the queen. That's it. Now let's go to Lichess for a quick analysis. here we are, and I'll give you a shortest and most professional analysis possible. We play with black pieces, so move 2, we are out of theory. I'm sorry to break it to you, but what can I say? What can I say? Chess mentals are more important than opening theory at this level. Because they get out of theory on move 4 or move 2 in this game. Therefore, I play e6. So the main move after e6 is going for d5, taking the center, and a6 b5. That is the way I like to play against these variations. There are probably 5 more ways that are both fine. Okay. After e5 now, that's quite a unfortunate move. Because you want to get rid of this pawn. I was thinking first a6 b5, maybe d6. I was calculating queen c7 if I can take this pawn somehow. After queen e2, I didn't find a way. So this was my analysis. This was my calculation, and white is fine. What I mean by that is white gets to keep his pawn. Also, I was thinking about immediately going for that, but then I saw c3. And I don't like this. This is not good. White gets the center, and yeah, you don't punish him at all. It's not that you need to punish him at this elo. You just need to play proper chess. Develop your pieces. Get more space if your opponent allows you to do so. So here you have knight b. Knight c3. b5, correct move. I'm getting more space and I'm developing my bishop. That is the goal. The goal is not to pray, to hope for my opponent to blunder b3, bishop b3 and play c4. It just happens sometimes. I was calculating on my opponent playing bishop e2 and then developing bishop b7 and going from there. So my opponent plays bishop b3 and game is basically over here. You just exchange a bit of pawns. I play d6 to get my pieces into play because this e5 pawn is making it really hard for my pieces to develop. So I just want to trade it off. And yeah, inferior version, I said that I was hoping for this knight d8, and this is a bit of superior version, but still bishop b6, and then I get to develop knight f6, might be bishop b7, bishop b4, whatever. He chooses to take here, which allows me to trade queens once again. Note that he cannot really dodge queen exchange. Maybe with moves like queen e5, although I doubt it. So I take here. The difference here is he exchanged queens and he got this isolated big pawn, and we also exchange one pair of pieces more than in previous variations. Here I just developed a tempo. Once again tempo. I got 2 tempos on this knight. I castle, he goes back with knight, which is I couldn't be yeah, I wouldn't be surprised that it's top engine move. Yeah. I mean you're just lost, it's -4. Here I use my semi-open files to attack his weaknesses. So I'm at the same time I'm attacking his weaknesses, I'm developing my pieces. I'm improving my pieces. And after these moves, it's just over. I exchange one more piece. This exchange is basically forced. I mean, I will force some exchange. I can even play knight c3 here to force exchange of this knight. And this is really, really weak. Now, variation that I was looking for was bishop e2 and something like this taking here. Now, the reason I didn't go for this is because he gets rook c7 or rook c6. He gets activity with this rook. And at this point, I'm up a piece. And I just want to win the cleanest way without giving him any counterplay. Just Karpov style, okay? Karpov style, remember. So I just improve my pieces even further beyond. And then he blunders rook c1, okay? And then I failed c bishop e2 on this move. Okay, it happens. Although f6 was pretty close, yes, f6 is pretty close. And I see it now. He basically forced me to see with a4 attack my bishop. Here, it doesn't matter what engine says, just go for simplest one. For you. For me, it was bishop d2, because I saw after knight d2 I can take here, and I'm sure that I can exchange this rook for sure. And what are we left? He has knight, I have bishop and rook. It's much easier. It is much easier to win that position than to win this, because he gets more counterplay. With one knight he cannot do anything against me. So okay, knight f1, this is a really nice move. We exchange, now I'm attacking checkmate. And yeah, I've been loyal players do not resign when the game is over, but I don't blame them. I don't blame them, I was low on time, so here. And we are just waiting for king d8 to push this, and that's checkmate. If he doesn't want to play king c8, he will have to play after h5. I would just play something like, okay, you can even move your rook, and then yeah, that's much better. That is much better. I was going to play h6, you know, and after h5 I was just playing some king move and he's in Zugzwang, okay, and you deliver checkmate as well, right? Thanks for watching, and this is how you win a game in a real. Now get out of here.